Welcome, everybody. We are live here for season what, Coach?
Season 5, right?
Season 5, the longest running high school basketball show in the state of Kentucky and the mountains of West Virginia. You're watching the grind session with Kevin Keathley, Darryl McCoy, and the maestro Thomas Rainey on the boards. We are here once again at the wonderful Glenn Martin Hammond's office.
Darryl McCoy, season 5, what? Yeah, the most watched sports program. Make no mistake about it. In the mountains and beyond, we've been delivering game winners for 5 seasons now, Maestro, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I can't wait for this season because it's going to be the best one yet.
It absolutely is. Gets bigger and better every year. Thomas, Glenn Martin Hammond has been a proud supporter for 3 years now, and we've held it here. He's got this studio here for us, does a wonderful job. Want to thank Glenn Martin Hammond. Anybody's looking for a lawyer, come see Glenn.
Absolutely. He does it all right here, and I'm not Coach Kevin Keathley. I apologize. How about that? The maestro messed up right off the bat.
You'll get it under things. Lewis Rattler says, hey, fellas, guys, don't forget how this thing works. You leave the comments, you leave the questions, we answer them. We also got a slew of topics to go over, so hopefully we can deliver a good show. And Coach, we would be remiss if we did not start with the University of Kentucky Wildcats, as always.
As always, Kentucky basketball, and a lot of you can go a lot of different ways, but Darryl McCoy, Kentucky basketball, always topic number one.
Well, UNC Wilmington. That's all we got to say. At the end of the day, you don't lose games like UNC Wilmington at home if you're a top tier blue blood program.
Well, you can't. Well, listen, you talk about if you're a top 10 program, right? You can't lose that game at home at Rupp Arena, coming off a big win over Miami. Yeah. Are they a good program? Sure, they're picked to win their conference, but and the margin of error in college basketball continues to get closer and closer between mid-major and high-major teams. Yeah, but you still don't drop that game. The addition of Aaron Bradshaw minus Wagner, you could tell that disrupted and discombobulated that unbelievable chemistry they had on the offensive end.
It did, and got to looking, and I seen a thing where the last time a top-tier team won a national championship while losing to a mid-major was Michigan State back in 2001, I think it was.
Wow.
And that was a road game. It wasn't even a home game. So,
right.
They got a tall mountain to climb. But when you take a look at what the Cats have accomplished, this is probably the most fun that I've had watching Kentucky in at least 6 years.
Well, I agree with you. Maestro, listen, you talk about up and down, fast break basketball, shots up, plenty of points. That's my brand of basketball.
We got a Kentucky guy out there, guys. How about that?
Yeah,
Mr. Reed Shepherd, absolutely.
It makes it a lot more enjoyable to watch, especially considering what Reed's doing. There's some NBA experts out there that has Reed Shepherd the number 2 player in the country.
Yeah.
Think about that. Yeah. That's behind Hunter Dickerson at Kansas. So, when you take a look at what this team's doing, Reed Shepherd's a kid that we thought we was going to get for 3-4 years, and he may be gone after a year. Yeah,
you're right. There's that talk, early draft projections, and obviously that does include the overseas international players that will be coming later in the year. That doesn't include some of the other things once we know who's coming and going. So that's going to change and be shook up a whole lot. But the fact that he's so high early, probably a good indicator that he probably won't be a 4-year guy. I do believe he'll be a 2-year guy no matter what. I just can't see this first year him jetting off. I think he's 2 years no matter what.
I hope he does, and with Reed, at the end of the day, if he stays anywhere, like if he's projected to go in the lottery, you go. I wouldn't want the kid to stay if you're projected to go in the lottery, because that's about as good as it's going to get as a lottery pick for him. I couldn't ever imagine being number 1 pick, but the thing that I didn't like was the post game, and Lewis Ratliff hit on it here. The way Calipari threw Reed under the bus. Everything's going good this year. It seemed like the fans, you had Swaggy Cal back, everything getting good, and then Cal goes and makes a remark like that after the post game. pretty much saying, y'all's golden boy, was getting messed up and getting worked. Why say that?
Well, listen, Coach Cal, you're exactly right. You always protect your guys. He's as good as anybody at protecting his guys, especially with media interviews. So that is surprising that he would say that. That's surprising because Coach Cal's so good at protecting his guys. So I don't know what happened there. But maybe he's just trying to send a message. Maybe he thinks he can coach, read differently.
He done the same thing with Dante Allen. I don't know if it's in-state prospects. If Cal, and I do think that Cal looks at in-state prospects a little less than what he does other prospects, and I don't know why. But it's kind of you take advantage of what's here. But he knows that everybody in the state of Kentucky wants to see these kids do good. And what I don't understand is, listen, last year, the year before, you can have losing seasons if you got an in-state guy that's doing stuff. But if not, we're going to hold you to a higher standard. And then to go make remarks like that, just no need when things are rolling your way.
Well, yeah, all the positive momentum on Kentucky basketball side. For as Darryl said, probably in 6, 7, 8 years, the most excitement.
Fox and Monk was the last year.
The fan base is behind this program. Players, you could tell, really gelling together, having a great time on the court. I know I'm excited. Man, I can't wait to tune in, watch this team compete and play. So, I don't know. Maybe it was just a slip. Maybe it was a subtle. Who knows? Because he knows that locker room better than anybody. But that is surprising from Coach, because Coach Cal is good as anybody at shielding his guys.
And you know too that if you remember, this wasn't wise, because if you remember back 3 years ago, him and Jeff Shepard's relationship wasn't good anyways.
Right.
So I just think it was kind of a slip. That's kind of his true feelings, is that the fan base pushes him and he feels pressure when in-state kids come, and I think it was kind of like, see, told you. They're human, and so either way, this team right here with Bradshaw, ceiling is extremely high, and I do think still, despite the stat that no other team beside Michigan State has done that since 2000. I still think this is a team that can win a national title. I
think, sir, because you talk offensively, Darryl, as good as they are shooting the ball, moving the ball, attacking the rim, getting to the free throw line, that all equates to a championship-type team. You got to have those aspects within your offense, and Kentucky's not had that in quite some time. So, offensively it's all there. Defensively, they can switch and do a lot of different things, but they're going to definitely need to improve in certain areas, and they will as the year goes along, especially those freshmen. Darryl, you know that freshmen always got to get better defensively, right?
Yep.
Just the speed of the game. Got to get better. That's with every single level you play. So it's just a part of it. But I'm with you. Kentucky basketball can be really good.
It's every sport, every team. It's always like that. There's a learning curve.
Right.
In grade school football, you see from 8th grade going up to freshman year, huge difference. And it's just getting used to the speed of the game. I've been very surprised with what we've seen so far from this group. At the end of the day, took Kansas down to the wire without a legit post player.
Right.
So, if that don't tell you this team can win a national title, I don't know what does.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Now, for you folks at home, you may know we've been doing a lot of college basketball lately. We've been doing Huntington Prep games, been upping the game for you folks at home. And, Alice Lloyd, UPike, we've seen a lot of them this year. We've been courtside for a few of the UPike games. We went and covered the Alice Lloyd games. Pippa Passes has welcomed D&D with open arms. And, I really like what the local schools are doing too, especially what Mr. Ty Compton is doing with Keam Works and crew.
Well, listen, I can say this right here. The maestro to my right, Darryl McCoy to my left. There's not two bigger fans of that young man in the state than Mr. Keam Works. And, well, why not, right? And what he's doing for that Ty Compton basketball program, UPike, he's a difference maker on a lot of different levels, Darryl, right?
Yeah.
A lot of different. It ain't just on the court. So he has been a huge addition this year. Had a chance to watch him in person. Again, runs the show, and he values the basketball. Very tough to turn him over.
I hate to say, well, no, I don't. Told you so. But no, I mean, you just go back to his senior year. I mean, he was the biggest mismatch problem in the entire state of Kentucky. Like, went to the Rupp Arena.
Statement.
You seen what he done to Reed Shepherd. I mean, this kid was toying. Faced one of the best defenders in the Sweet 16 that year, the kid from GRC. I mean, Kean just has that extra level of quickness. This kid, I'm not saying he could go walk on and play for Kentucky.
Right.
I'm by any means, but a school like Marshall or somebody like that, take a flyer on him, because you will get exactly what's happening at Pikeville right now. You will get butts in the seats. You'll win ball games, and you'll get fans in the gym. Yeah,
and again, we went to that U-Pike game, and I've probably seen more fans at that Expo Center in a long time for U-Pike than what normally they have. And obviously, a lot of that has to do with Mr. Kean Warts and the local talent that Coach Ty Compton's bringing in. Tremendous job Coach Compton's doing. But you're right. I think sometimes, and I know this will be a fact, actually, even going up to the NBA level, I talk to scouts, and I'll talk to Leanne sometimes about this, and I'll be like, look, I think sometimes people are afraid to be the first. So they're worried about their job, right? So I say that all the time, and I talk to my guys about it. It's like they want somebody else to offer first, because they don't want to be put out on the, what is it, when you walk the plank. They don't want to feel like they're going to have to jump into the infested sharks, because if they get it wrong, their job's over. So somebody has to be first, and nobody was ever the first with Kean.
And that right there, you're spot on with that. Nobody wants to be the first, because we see here when we put that a kid receives an offer, or so and so is interested in this kid. I'm not kidding. Within the next 3 days, we will have 4 to 5 coaches message, hey, what's the deal with this kid?
Right.
And it's always like, it don't matter what kid it is.
Right.
If you put something out that kid has an offer, or that kid's, somebody's interested in that kid, they will be 4 to 5 colleges in the next 3 to 4 days that will reach out and say, hey, what's the deal with this kid?
Right.
And that's, it's just the way it works. Like you said, scared to be the first.
Yeah, scared to be the first. It's college and pro, same way, and I've seen it happen time and time again, and it always happens. Once that first one comes, oh yeah, that second one's following, and that sometimes that first one never comes for some people.
Speaking of Alice Lloyd, Thomas, we got to see Alice Lloyd's JV the other night against Huntington Prep, and Nas Welch plays for them. Bodie Bentley from Letcher Central. Connor Hopkins.
A lot of great prospects, I'm telling you, playing right there on that Alice Lloyd team that we're getting to cover now. So this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I cannot wait. We covered the girls' game. Kenzie Maynard went and had an unbelievable showing.
Yeah.
I still ain't got a report whether Katie Jo Moore's all right or not.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything about it?
It was a sprained ankle, I believe.
Sprained ankle, so hopefully she's back sooner than later.
Yeah.
But we got a lot of people tuning in. And Thomas, I think as we're getting ready to go to our first commercial break, we want to make sure people understand and want to remind people, Thomas, got a surprise. Christmas spirit. I'm not Santa Claus, but we may have some physical features that are kind of the same. But listen, at the end of the day, hit that like and share button. Somebody that shares tonight's broadcast will get a big old ham courtesy of D&D Sports Network. So make sure you hit that share button, folks, as we are in the Christmas spirits here at Glenn Martin Hammonds. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for a great selection and a great experience for your next Harley-Davidson, come on down to Mountain State Harley-Davidson here in Del Barton, West Virginia.
We have new 2023 models in stock and ready for delivery. Special financing available.
Or choose pre-owned with one of the largest inventories in the tri-state area with great low prices.
Visit our showroom filled with licensed Harley-Davidson apparel and more.
Don't write that check until you check with us, Mountain State Harley-Davidson, 61 Priest Bottom Road, or visit us online at mountainstatehd.com.
Looking for a great selection, great prices, and a great experience on your next ATV, motorcycle, or side-by-side? Come check out Keefer's Kawasaki.
Our #1 goal is to offer you the best power sport experience at a great price.
Like this new 23 Kawasaki Teryx 4 for only $17,999.
Before you write that check, check with us.
And remember, your adventure starts here at Keefer Kawasaki. Route 44 South, Jerry West Highway in Logan, or visit KeefersPowersports.net.
Hi everybody, Dave Baker here for Citizens Bank in Kentucky. Do you want to love your car even more? How about putting extra cash in your pocket each month by refinancing with new low rates at CBK? It is fast, it's easy. All you have to do is log on to wearecitizens.bank.
This is Bruce Walters from Bruce Walters Kia. By now you know Kia is a great vehicle, and you know they come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So why should you buy from Bruce Walters Kia? At Bruce Walters Kia, we're going to change your oil for free for life. And what you do with that money you save is up to you. Come check out the 2022 Kia Carnival and the 2021 Kia Sorento, only at Bruce Walters Kia in Pikeville. Or shop us online at brucewalterskia.com.
If you was pushed out of the area because of loss of work in the coal industry, look no longer. Jim Marr is here for you. Jim Marr is now hiring for all positions in the coal field. Stop by their offices in Logan, West Virginia or in Wheeling, West Virginia and apply today.
Shepard from Oklahoma High School. Continue to follow D&D Sports, best coverage in the mountains.
Back here at Glenn Martin Hammond's office in Coal Run, you are watching the Grind Session with Kevin Keathley, Darryl McCoy, and the maestro Thomas Rainey on the boards. Coach Kevin Keathley, it's almost here. We're almost getting to the high school basketball talk. But first, I want to talk some middle school basketball before we get to it. And guys, we will release the first season official season top 10 in segment 4 here. So I want to talk about the middle school right now. As everybody knows, middle school is something we've become known for. Mm-hmm. And I thought last year, I was like, that 2028 class, it's kind of weak. It drops off a little bit. But after about a month of middle school play here, I'm surprised with the talent that is in that 2028 class. I mean, it's a thorough surprise that the kids are stepping up. I think you got a legit 25, 30 kids that are solid players in that class.
I'm just amazed, honestly. We've got to see some high flyers, don't get me wrong, with Mr. Wesley Buck, Prater from over at East Perry, Nick, and then the big guy, Andrew Terry. My goodness, Coach, when you're in the 8th grade and you do a windmill in the game, you can get up a little bit.
Right. You're right. I think where it's stronger now, Darryl McCoy and Maestro, is over the 14th region. I think there's, now that we've added a 14th region, now the 2028 for our coverage area is stronger and deeper than what we thought it was, because I still believe the 2028 class amongst the area that we initially were covering, I don't think is as strong as what previous years that we had covered. But adding 14th region, there's 5-6 guys in that alone that are going to be major contributors right away for their high school team.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. And real quick, want to take and before I give you my thoughts on it real quick, Carl Whitey Little says the #1 sports talk show in the mountains. Appreciate that, Carl. As coach, Whitey, he does a great job. Alan Wright says D&D's king of the mountains. We got Opal Eversole says thanks for bringing it in the house. Darren Brewer says Kean is an exceptional young man. He coaches his boy Connor, said with his AAU team, said great role model. Agree. Kevin Stepp says Riley Salmons dropped 20 on Alice Lloyd. Yeah. So Cody Little says, what's your thoughts on super regional tournament formats and format that they will test out this season? We'll answer that later in the show, so make sure you stay around as we get to the high school segments. But back to middle school, I do think the 14th region, and I think West Virginia it has talent, and I think in the 15th region it's not
what it was.
Yeah, it's
still got
it's dropped off a little bit, but yeah, I mean, right now, and we don't have the middle school top 10 until next week, so I mean, when you talk top teams that we've seen. I think Shelby Valley's real good. I think Betsy Lane. I think Chapmanville and Logan. I think both of them is going to be good. Yeah. Top 5 teams. Then East Perry.
I'm going to throw May Valley in there too.
Yeah. I think May Valley definitely in that top 10. And then trying to think, Owsley. Now they got 3 really good players. I want to see them against one of the better teams to see how they handle it,
right.
Because they probably got the biggest lineup. I mean, they got to guard a McCoy kid that he's probably 6'3" himself, and just looking, and then East Perry may be the most physical team that I've seen.
Right.
I mean, they got 2 forwards that are really good. And then you go over on the West Virginia side, and you got Coda Dalton, Jacob Maynard, and crew, Maddox Sarton.
Mm-hmm.
Logan's got the Lucas Lambert, Grayson Sanders, Bentley Williamson. So, this will be a very fun middle school basketball season. It has been so far. When you take and look at these teams, and I'm pretty sure that's the thing that D&D has done, is they've linked everybody together, in Eastern Kentucky, Southern West Virginia. So you're getting a Chapmanville playing a Robbie Joe Johnson at Betsy Lane, and so that's the fun part about it, is it'll all be settled on the court. Now, 16th region, I'm hearing Raceland has a really good team.
Yeah.
So, we'll still see about that, but it's going to be a situation where, if you like middle school basketball, whether it's high school, middle school, you like basketball, there's some big time athletes right now. And when you go to middle school Thomason, there's a good chance you'll get to see a dunk from 3-4 different teams. That's what makes it very exciting.
Want to give a quick reminder, coaches, send your information. We go through this lull. We start out like a house of fire, coach, where everybody's sending all their information, and then it kind of drops off. Send those stats, send those videos, send that information so we can help promote your team. We're going to be listen, for the last week, Darryl McCoy, I've worked on a schedule. Still a little bit of hair I got left up here. There ain't a lot. I've pulled it out, but we've got some of the best middle school games in the 14th, 15th, and West Virginia coverage area coming your way shortly.
Well, that's the big thing, and Thomas nailed it, Darryl. During the 2027 7th grade year, their 7th grade year, teams were sending out Shelby Valley, Mullins, Pikeville, Belfry, Paintsville, Johnson. Everybody sent stuff into D&D. It was a nightly basis. We almost had too much. It was like, can't keep up. Last year, it took a dip and a turn. Not as much coming in. Important. You say, well, why my kid getting this? Send it in. Get your info in. Stats, numbers, superlatives, wins, losses, and build your program up. And it only helps the middle school product, Darryl McCoy.
Yeah, and listen, right now, like for Betsy Lane, you got Andrew Collins and Connor Johnson playing valuable varsity minutes.
Yeah.
So Coach Howard, he's not scared to play the middle school kids, and he showed that last night against a very tough Shelby Valley team. I was surprised to see them 2 getting as many minutes as they did.
Yeah.
And take it back, JV minutes
JV
is what
minutes.
I meant to say. But it's a situation where you go over to Adams. You got the Click kid, the Schutz kid. What's the other kid's name?
Maines, Brandon Maines. What's the other?
No, Cruz.
Yeah.
So when you take a look at, there's not, I think the bad teams ain't as bad this year. That's what I can say. Like the basement isn't as deep as what it used to be. Because you look Jenkins. At Jenkins, at times very competitive and has a chance to win that Letcher County championship over there. And I'm excited to see West Perry. Now West Perry, the Collar Maggard, that young man can play. So this has been one of the funnest years I've had. Because you're not seeing as many blowouts. And then you go over to Shelby Valley, whenever they had that Whitney Creech tournament, you had East Perry and Shelby Valley play in the semifinals. And I think if Shelby Valley wouldn't have had to play East Perry, I think it would have been hard for May Valley to beat either one of them if they wouldn't have had to beat up on each other before the championship.
Yeah, but think about it, Darryl. May Valley went to East Perry, 2 weeks ago, I think, and beat East Perry at East Perry.
Did they?
So, those three teams right there,
to
throw a blanket over them, they're all right there together. I mean, they're that close.
Yeah, Harrison Fields, you got Mark Bowling. I mean, that Shelby Valley team, this is the group they've been waiting on for a while to come up, and they're proving it on the court.
It's like I told the coaches there and a couple of the players when I interviewed them. I was like, they were always that fifth team the last 2 years behind Mullins, behind Belfry, Pikeville, Johnson Central. So they're always right out of that top mix of top 2 or 3. Well, now they've paid their dues. They've waited. Shelby Valley's now that top dog here in the 15th region along with May Valley.
We've heard a lot. I just got another message about this Connor Morgeson from down in Powell County.
Yeah.
We've got to see this kid, Darryl.
Yeah.
Leading his, Darren Brewer just put leading his freshman team and JV team in scoring as a true 8th grader.
Yeah.
So
we've
heard a lot of comments about him.
I think it was like 40. He had 40 or 50-some points when Andrew Terry went off and when they played Owsley County. So, that's a kid. That's why we're there, guys. So make sure you send us his stuff in. If he's doing big things, send it to D&D. Send us pictures. Try to get a picture. Send us stats so we can write about them.
Yeah.
Send us a schedule too. It's hard to get. That's what people don't. Let me put the camera on. That's what people don't understand. High school's easy. You just pull your phone up and you go to KHSAA. Middle school's a whole different animal because you have to rely on coaches to get a schedule. So if your kid's not getting covered and you all got a really good team, send that schedule to D&D.
100%. So right now, from what you've seen first 2 weeks, if I had to tell you, okay, 5 kids must-watch kids in middle school. The 5 kids, and this is tough because we're a week in or 2 weeks into the middle school season, but I think Andrew Terry, I think Dakota Dalton, I think the Buck kid. Mm-hmm. The
Young Buck.
Young Buck are all three of them, and then I love watching Mark Bowling.
Yeah.
He's a very fun player to watch, and then in that 5th, we've not seen Logan yet, but Lucas Lambert, you got to think he'll be in that group somewhere.
I like Nick Prater too. I like his game too.
Yeah, Nick Prater and them 2 bigs they got, and then Coach, I know the help me out, the kid from Pikeville, Gillespie.
Yeah, Mr. Gillespie.
Dalton Gillespie.
Dalton Gillespie. I was about to say Daniel. Dalton Gillespie, long, athletic, going to be a player, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so you guys definitely want to stick around for that. And then, over on the a lot of people don't realize, but the girls' season in West Virginia is just now starting. Kentucky's already played theirs. But, that's something that I really hate for our girls' middle school kids because, they could benefit a lot by having their season, in times like this where you can talk about them on the show and stuff.
Right.
But, you've seen kids like the Miley Cogrove from Belfry, her, the little Woolham girl, the Lexi, can't remember Lexi's last name, but the girls' middle school was extremely fun to watch and cover this year. So, I hope that we can get a tournament or something, 1 year together where, they can at least have a little bit of a season into this season.
Well, that's our goal. Is we I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. We are going to have a middle school tournament next year.
Yeah,
we've got to. We talked about it. I want to thank what Coach Parsley did down there in the preseason. That was a great tournament, bringing a lot of West Virginia teams over that some of our Kentucky fans just don't get to see on a nightly basis. So.
And we're sitting here talking, and I don't even look at him as a middle school kid anymore, so that's completely on me.
Oh.
Bryson
Dawes.
I
forgot about
Yeah, you got Bryson Dawes and you got Colton Ratliff, as Lynn Keathley says.
Yeah.
You know, both of them two, they would probably be in that top. Well, I know Dawes will be in that top 5, and I think Colton. I've not seen Colton this year, but you know he showed out in our All-Star game, and you know, so if he's not top 5, he's 6.
Well, listen, Colt Ratliff's one of those top 10 guys. Can defend, intensity, leader, great kid. Right now, running that Mullins program at that PG spot. Yeah, Colt Ratliff's been there and done that. Won a lot of games over the years on the A team. So yeah, Colton Ratliff, no doubt about it. Love Colton Ratliff.
Yep. So guys, it's come that time. We're going to take another commercial break. When we come back, it's what everybody's here for. We're going to get into the high school basketball season. Come right back and join us here on the Grind Session.
Here at Logan Bank and Trust, we are committed to serving the needs of the Southern coalfields. So if you need to borrow money, remember, we are just a click away.
Here at LB&T, we make online banking easy.
We've taken the hassle out of applying for a loan on our new website. It's as simple as going to our lbnt.com website and choosing the loan product that best suits your needs.
Your loan on your time. Visit us at lbnt.com. You're only a click away.
So if you need to borrow money, remember, we are just a click away. It's easy to apply online at lbnt.com, and all decisions are made locally. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is where it all started, right here on this farm. We may have grown over the years, but we've never lost sight of what was important to us. We're continuing that tradition today, and we always will be, for generations to come.
Come see us at Trailhead Bar and Grill in Macon, West Virginia, where the locals come to hang out and the trail riders come to visit.
Follow us on Facebook page for our daily specials. We're open 7 days a week here at Trailhead Bar and Grill.
You can give them a call at 681-308-6088. Make sure you follow them on their Facebook page to keep up with all their daily specials and for business and operation hours. Trailhead Bar and Grill, located downtown Matewan, West Virginia.
Come on down to Three Guys Pizza and Brew in Williamson, West Virginia. We're located on the corner of Harvey Street and 3rd Avenue. We got great deals on pizzas, sandwiches, and more. You get great service with great pricing. Enjoy your birthday or ball games with us here at Three Guys Pizza and Brew. Look forward to seeing you.
Looking for a new pharmacy? Howard Family Pharmacy offers fast and friendly service and convenient drive-thrus at both locations.
Back here at Glenn Martin Hammond's office in Coal Run, guys, if you're looking for the outcome that you deserve and the judgment that you've been looking for, call Glenn Martin Hammond. He will get it for you. Kevin Keathley to my right, Maestro Thomas Rainey on the boards. I'm Darryl McCoy, and you are watching the Grind Session. Coach, as we got all the comments coming in here, we see Jason Norman says Lexi Mapes. Absolutely, that was the name. Said yeah. Cam Duncan has to be the top middle school girls player in the mountains. I'd have to think about that. The Cam, awful good. And taking nothing from her. Just give me a little bit to process that, and I'll let you know my thoughts on it. Then Leanne Keathley says, laughs out loud, wrong last name. Caden Hall was who she was saying for Betsy Lane, and then said he's playing middle school and JV for the high school. Connor Hall is it or Hall? Caden Hall.
I don't know. I'll have to look
Yeah. I'm not sure on that. And then Darren Brewer says, will D&D be covering the 14th region tournament at the Sportsplex in Knott County this weekend? Connor Morganson and the Powell County team will be playing Shelby Valley and Carr Creek on Saturday. Leanne Keathley, Caden Hall, Knott Crum, is who she was talking about. Now,
we don't know if we have a crew. That's the thing about the Saturday tournament. So stay tuned is all I can say. How about that?
Yeah, that's definitely up in the air. But Carr Creek, what's his Tate
Craft.
Tate Craft.
Yeah, we forgot about him.
That young man can flat fill it up, Coach. We watched him. I think he ended up dropping, it seemed like 30 some in that West Perry tournament. That kid, as he continues to get other players, the players around him get better and develop more, where they're able to drive and kick it out to him. That's going to be one of the best kids in the 14th region in the next 3-4 years.
And here's the thing, you know how junior high works. Sometimes kids grow immediately, sometimes develop a little longer, and sometimes kids are reclassified a couple times. Wait until he reaches high school and he continues to grow. That kid's going to be an absolute bona fide offensive weapon, ladies and gentlemen. That kid can score it. Just, give him some time. It's coming.
I guarantee you Casey Huff's trying to maneuver and make sure he keeps him in Hyman.
That's exactly right.
But as we're sitting here, listen, we've got to see a lot of high school basketball so far. I don't know how many games we've done, but every night we got 2 or 3 games on. And so far, me and you was at that DJ Begley Classic in Hazard.
Yeah.
A great tournament they have every year. First night, I want to talk about the McGoffin County Hornets. That team, I really don't know. Like, they are good enough to win the 15th region.
Right.
They're good enough to do that. But it's just getting the consistency, because they rely so much on Aiden Barnett. When we was over there, the good thing about it was probably the best game I've seen Grayson Whitaker play this year so far. That kid showed that he can be that second scoring option, and we've always knew Grayson could do that, but the scouting report on him is he was just a knockdown shooter. But we seen him driving, he was playing defense. If Aiden Barnett can get that co-star, then I think Coach Castle's got a team this year, because as we've seen, Martin County's got beat. It looks like, and I still think, we'll talk about that later, but I still think Martin County is the top team in the 15th region. But when you take a look at, McGoffin, you look at McGoffin and Pikeville, I think that both of them has an opportunity to beat Martin County.
They do. McGoffin County, here's the thing. And I've noticed this going back to Prestonsburg. And it was a back-and-forth game with Prestonsburg all night. Then they stretched it out to a 10-plus point lead. But then at the end, what happened, Darryl McCoy? Collapsed. McGoffin County turnovers, quick shots. Prestonsburg came back, had an opportunity to maybe get that W at the end, and it happened every step of the way, Darryl. Wolf County, same thing. Up by 20 at Wolf County, Darryl. You were there. Then... right? The night DJ Begley Classic. What happened, Darryl? They led the entire way.
I told you before it happened, McGoffin County struggles against pressure.
Yeah.
If they don't get a ball handler, that can help Barnett, because what it is teams are doubling and tripling Barnett.
Yeah.
And he's having to make a decision right away, and it's not always the best decision, and sometimes he'll burn you with it, so it's, he'll make it sometimes he won't, and that's just because teams know, we're going to throw 2-3 guys at Barnett, and we're going to make the other ones beat us. If Grayson Whitaker continues playing like he is, Zane Whitaker holds his weight, and is the player that this summer everybody has been talking about, then this is going to be a very scary McGoffin County team.
Yeah, I think as McGoffin County becomes more consistent, closing games out and being able to seal the deal, hold that 8-10 point lead. Yeah, Darryl McCoy, I'm with you. I think that can be a team. You're talking top 3 team that can cut down nets at the Expo Center.
Yeah, I think Coach Castle's got a squad there.
Yeah.
And then, it'd be interesting to see, in the 15th region where things was at the beginning and where they are right now, because I've seen 2 or 3 teams that I thought that have fell down out of the top 10, and I've seen 2 or 3 that's jumped up.
Right.
So,
yeah,
be interesting. Perry Central was a team. It was their first game. We've seen all year long. when teams play that first game, you throw that one out the book, because every team is showing nerves like crazy in their first game. And we've seen Perry Central come out and they overcome that adversity. They wasn't in shape. They was barely struggling. They was running on E in that fourth quarter, Coach, and ended up pulling off a huge win. Was it McGoffin?
McGoffin,
yeah. So, Kaiser Sloan, as he continues to get in shape, that kid's going to be a problem to be dealt with, just because his ability to, he can handle the rock with his size. He can get in the paint. He can score over people. This Perry team, the jury's still out. I don't know how good this team is yet until I see them healthy. But, what we seen the other night, they belong in that top group there with Hazard, Breathitt, Letcher, Knott.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They're a top 4 or 5 team. They're gonna be very dangerous once they get 100% healthy. Perry Central always is tough place to play at home, but my oh my, is that top. You talk about Hazard and Perry Central, Darryl, right there in Perry County. Those two teams going to go right at it again this year. It's going to be war every time those two step on the court.
It always is. It's one of them great rivalry games. You got Tug Tulsa, you got Pikeville Shelby Valley, you got Chapmanville Logan, you got Hazard Perry. I mean, there's them certain rivalries that's like that.
Right.
So it'll be very interesting to see. I don't know how it's going to pan out, and then you go look. One of the things that surprised me, is Chapmanville. Mm-hmm. We seen Chapmanville at the Zip Zone Classic.
Yeah.
By the way, the guys, Travis Perry, if you get a chance to go watch him this year, because he's going to make history each and every night as he continues to add on to that King Kelly record.
Right.
So it's something that everybody needs to watch. But I was very surprised at how easy Martin County handled Chapmanville.
Darryl, we were talking about it in the stands. Halftime, right? It was back and forth, back and forth. This is just from my perspective. I looked over at Darryl McCoy and I said, as they were going to the locker room, I said, it looks like they're starting to run on empty, Darryl McCoy. They're already getting into their legs. And it looked like the second half, they were a step slow behind what Martin County was doing.
Well, and you got to realize West Virginia is a month behind Kentucky. They're literally a month behind. And then you add if their football school is any good or not, could be a little more. But, that right there was a huge win, a huge confidence booster. But take nothing from that, because that Chapmanville team is still a team that has a chance to win a state title. I mean, once they get Joey Gollahue involved, that was his first game, and then they got the Blevins kid running point guard now, super quick. They just got to find an identity.
Right.
I think right now, they don't know who their number one guy is. Is it Joey? Is it Zion? Once they get that identity, I promise you, Brad Napper will get it figured out.
I agree with you. I think every team needs that. We know where to go when we need it. We know where we need to go when there's a scoring lull. And I think you nailed it, Darryl. I don't know if they know. Is it Blevins? Is it Joey?
Yeah.
And I think that's going to maybe, or coaching staff, like you said, Coach Napper, he's going to get it figured out, or maybe they know where it's going and it's just taking some time to get there. But I think that's a good point. I think they don't exactly know offensively who they are just yet, who that guy is.
And I tell you, they're going to have a rival there. Logan's back to a team that will give them all they want, because write this down. One of the best kept secrets in the mountains is a young man named Julius Clancy at Logan.
Good.
You add stud point guard, that was the point guard of our D&D Mountain Elite team in Matt Hatfield, over there with Julius Clancy. Then you got a sharpshooter like Derek Browning. This Logan team is a team that will compete in 3A. I could very well see them make a deep run. Now, they don't have any bigs, so I got to see how the rebounding, will go for Logan. But, this is a team that, they have an opportunity to compete for a state title.
I love Logan. What I've seen of them, listen, underhanded when we had a chance to watch them compete, but they've got guys, they've got competitors, and make no mistake about it, they know who their go-to guy is, and they've got multiple guys they can also go to off of him.
And I definitely believe in Hoopy Wimpson. Love what.
Oh, I've heard you talk, Darryl. You were a big fan of Hoopty.
Yeah, I mean.
It is Hoopy, right?
Hoopy.
I'm calling him Hoopty.
Yeah,
it ain't a Hoopty, ladies.
He ain't a Hoopty.
He
He's
ain't a Hoopty, right?
Yeah. But as you're sitting there, and the thing that I like too over on the Kentucky side, and credit the maestro with this ideal, is we've started the 14th versus 15th region challenge.
Yeah.
And it's been something that all the players have got behind, the fans have got behind it, and right now, very surprising, the 14th region with a 6-3 lead, and we got one going on right now, Belfry and Phelps and Jenkins, which is on D&D Sports Network.
Yep, the girls are taking off. So the 15th region's got some work to do. 14th region jumped out to a commanding lead. It wasn't even close that first week. So let's see if the 15th region can battle back.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, as we got a slew of them. I know tomorrow night we got Letcher and McGoffin. That'll be a good one. You'll have two teams, top three teams in their respective regions.
Yeah.
Tell them about a coach and player mentioning it the other night to you.
Oh, yeah. I've had... Well, actually, you can catch it on video. Aiden Barnett come over, said he wanted to get the 15th region, and then had a coach and a player come over and say, hey, we're going to get this win for the 15th region. We're not going to let them continue to fall behind. So it's on everybody's mind. And I can tell you, the 15th region, it's a slap in the face right now that 14th region's up.
I'm in shock.
Yeah.
Thomas Rainey, I'm in shock. I ain't going to lie to you. I thought 15th region would roll in this. And I love the 14th region folks over there. You guys know I do. So don't jump on me over there in Breathitt County. But I think, to be honest with you, and I love Coach Taylor. Big time fan of Coach Taylor, and I love that Letcher Central toughness that they bring. I felt like Prestonsburg let one slip on that one right out of the gate. I felt like they could have sealed the deal, got that W, didn't get it done. Letcher got out of there with the W. And then there was another game I was talking about early on that I felt that kind of slipped through the 15th region's hands. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm shocked that the 15th region is down to the degree that they are in terms of that 14th, 15th region challenge.
And for the most part, they've been great games too.
Oh yeah.
They've been competitive.
Yeah.
So we're excited about. Like I said, we got the one game going on tonight. We got one tomorrow night in McGoffin and Letcher, and then hopefully with this rescheduling of Betsy Lane, we might be able to catch the Betsy Lane and
Wolf County
game.
Yeah,
we'll see if we got a crew.
Well, Greg Creek says hate that Betsy Lane canceled on the Wolves, said, but look forward to coming to Betsy Lane on Saturday.
Oh, it was Betsy Lane. Canceled. Okay.
And then Ethan Lance says Floyd Central, Perry Central will be on the WYMT Classic.
That's right.
Yeah, that won't be considered in the challenge because we only do the games that we're doing. Yeah, that we're covering. But
that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's
it's absolutely. I can't wait, and I don't know. Is that Saturday or?
No. That's tomorrow night, right?
Tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow night, Friday night.
Yeah, well, you guys definitely want to check that out. Jason Norman, when he talked about top middle school girls, I think little Carly Stanley may have something to say with it. So
some of these play so much high school, you forget about them.
That's it. So very interesting there. And guys, it's coming that time for a commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna start. Well, we'll let the maestro decide. Boys or girls top 10 next segment. Make sure you guys come right back and join us here on the Grind Session.
Come see us at Trailhead Bar and Grill in Macon, West Virginia, where the locals come to hang out and the trail riders come to visit.
Follow us on Facebook page for our daily specials. We're open 7 days a week here at Trailhead Bar and Grill.
You can give them a call at 681-308-6088. Make sure you follow them on their Facebook page to keep up with all their daily specials and for business and operation hours. Trailhead Bar and Grill, located downtown, Mate 1, West Virginia.
I'm Alicia Maynard.
And I'm Dr. Alan Baldwin.
And we'd like to show you some of the services we offer here at Maynard Chiropractic.
Big deep breath. Oh, yeah. Here at Maynard Chiropractic, we're taking all the necessary precautionary measures to ensure patient and provider safety. Schedule your appointment with Better Health today.
Looking for a new healthcare provider? Come see us at Tug Valley Wellness Clinic. We take all patients from the ages 2 and up. Our staff has over 30 years of medical experience. We do everything from DOT physicals, wellness exams, adult and child, walk-in visits, and more. Call us today at 304-236-3601 and reach us Monday through Friday.
Let the folks at Double Quick help you start your 2022 off right. They've brought back the Bourbon Pecan Coffee for a limited time only. You can also quench your thirst with the great deals on fountain drinks they offer daily. Double Quick is your one-stop shop for everything. They offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can stop by one of their many storefront locations spread throughout eastern Kentucky. Stop by and let Double Quick make your day better.
Come down to Trailblazers Outfitters, located right off the 4-lane from Williamson, West Virginia, to hop on your new rental of side-by-sides, dirt bikes, or four-wheelers. They also have four-wheeler, dirt bike, and side-by-side repairs, along with accessories, tires, and stereo systems, and a large repair shop. Give them a call today at 859-953-0903 to get your new rental to enjoy the trails today.
If you want to make your dream home come true, call Solid Rock Development today. Check out some of these interior and exterior jobs they've done over the past few years. Solid Rock Development is making custom dream homes come true at a great price. Family owned, family operated, and faith backed. Give us a call today at Solid Rock Development. We're back here at Glenn Martin Hammond's office in Coal Run. We got the Kevin Keathley. I'm Darryl McCoy and the maestro Thomas Rainey on the boards. And the number one high school basketball show in the state of Kentucky and mountains of West Virginia.
The longest running, 5th season. Nobody's close. Nobody's keeping close. Like I said, it's game winners every single night, week after week, Darryl McCoy.
And I can't wait as we're coming in here. We see Greg Creech says we definitely look forward to Friday. Guys, don't forget, this is an interactive broadcast. You guys, your comments, questions, put them in the comment section below. Hit that share button. Somebody that shares this broadcast will win a Christmas ham for Christmas.
And let's be clear, it's not a canned ham, is it, Darryl?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
It is a heavenly ham.
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys hit that share button and get them questions in. Also, guys, D&D Sports Network now has all of our shows over to YouTube. So for you folks that been sitting there on your phone and you want to watch it on the big screen, make sure you get on YouTube. But if you do, keep that phone handy so you can comment in the comment section, and it's on dndsports.com as well.
Now let me ask this. I've kind of had a little history in the 14th region, coaching at Leeds College, so I know a little bit about Wolfe County. Now, is Mr. Greg Creech, is he Caleb Creech's father?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And Caleb Creech
That's a player.
is one of the top players in that 14th region, that 8th grade class. He can play. My son's worked out with him a few times.
Yeah, he's absolutely. And listen, we went over there. Wolfe County folks, them folks are hungry. They love D&D Sports Network over there. They opened their arms. They wrote out the mat. They said, here guys, you have the run of the place.
Yeah.
So great people, great community over there. Want to thank the folks at 145 Steakhouse. Went there.
Yeah.
Never heard of D&D, but they said, we're going to take a chance on you. And then they ended up benefiting. Awesome. They said, guys, couldn't have ever got that many people seeing my advertisement for what you guys do it for.
That's awesome.
So as we're getting ready to get started, we got the top 10. Thomas, boys or girls?
Oh, always ladies first, Darryl McCoy, always.
Let's take a look at it.
Let's go. Here we go. Are you ready? Coming in at number 10, the Perry Central Lady Commodores. Number 9, let's head over to West Virginia to the Chapmanville Lady Tigers. Sliding in at number 8, the Martin County Lady Cards. Heading down 20 or up 23 from here, Darryl, to Paintsville for the Lady Tigers coming in at number 7. Spring Valley will take the number 6 spot. Boyd County coming in at number 5. Ashland at number 4. Pikeville at number 3. Russell at number 2. And claiming the number 1 spot over in West Virginia, Wayne County. And if you haven't seen them play, you're missing something, let me tell you. Yeah. Others receiving votes is Johnson Central, Mingo Central, Lawrence County, Letcher Central, Knott Central, and Logan.
Well,
yeah.
Where'd we mess up, Coach?
Well, one I think should receiving votes should be the Prestonsburg Lady Black Cats. 3-0 on the year. Got a big win against Pike Central. Pike Central, the favorites to win that 60th district championship. Got a big time win against them. Big time 20-30 point win last night. I think you're going to be able to tell a lot tomorrow night against Floyd Central. Can they go to 4-0? Can Floyd Central stop that run? And Prestonsburg looking to make a little history, trying to get that W over Floyd Central. I believe it'll be the first one that Coach Kidd, if he can accomplish that during his career. I think they should be receiving votes. Where's Johnson Central at on there?
Johnson Central,
number 11.
Yeah, I think Johnson Central should be higher. I think what Coach Hicks is doing, I think they should be a little higher.
Who are you taking out?
Oh, you took my line. That's the tough part. Who do you take out? Let's throw it back up there for the fans to see one more time.
I'm gonna move. I don't know if you can take anybody out, but I would move Martin County down behind Johnson Central.
Okay.
They that'll be very interesting. The thing is Johnson Central. It's a style there. It's that Coach Hicks style. It's that run and gun. He likes to get up. He does it with defense. His players are in the tip top shape. But I don't know. I think you got to see a deeper resume. I know they're starting out undefeated. They got a big win over. It was Lawrence County. They beat Lawrence County the other night. So
big time win.
Yeah, big win straight away. And as far as what you're saying with Brandon Kidd and the Prestonsburg Black Cats, I think if whichever one wins that game tomorrow night, you may see one of them two in the top 10 next week.
Yeah.
Depending on how the rest of it pans out.
Right.
Well, I know a lot about those Johnson Central Lady Eagles. I coached 3-4 of them the summer we did AAU. They're finally seniors. This is kind of that class they've been waiting on for a while. So could this be the year that they win that 57th district?
Taylor McKenzie back right. You got Stanley's up there now. You got McKenzie. This is a very dangerous team. But I want to see them get a couple more wins against some top tier programs and see exactly how that goes before I'm comfortable moving them up. Now, Mingo Central is one that, after the run they had last year, still got Addie Smith, a girl that, she'll make a run. She'll put the stats up to be a Player of the Year candidate.
Yeah, right. And let me just say about Martin County, there ain't a classier coach in all of basketball than Coach Newsom.
No.
And the job that she's done and her star player, Miss Lakin Williams is a baller and just scored her 1,500 point. Right, Darryl?
Yep.
So, listen, that Martin County team is for real this year.
Well, if I look at this, Darryl, I think the top 3 have they're a little bit ahead of everybody else. Just the top 3.
Yeah.
And then 4 and 5 are a little bit, they're bunched together. And then I think you go to 6 through 12 is pretty steady.
I think you put Spring Valley in that 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
I think Spring Valley's in that.
I can go with that. I don't know enough about Spring Valley. But I look at Paintsville, Martin County, Chapmanville, Prairie Central, and those others receiving votes. They're all right there together.
Yeah. Letcher Central, listen, Kiera Couch and company, that Letcher Central squad, very good. They're a team, them and Knott Central are in receiving votes, and both of them are teams that are 2 of the favorites to win the 14th region. Right. So, that tells you how deep that this is. And then, Perry Central sneaking up there. I know Perry Central got a big win. I forgot who it was the other night they beat, but they got a big win over, I think it was Knott Central, or it was one of them teams there. in the receiving votes. I think it could have been Johnson Central, but either way, when you look at this girls' top 10, Martin County, they're a team that you've got to see win at a big level. They always have good regular seasons. Always. Robin Newsom, one of the best coaches in the game. But, when the stuff hits the fan, you got to win them big ball games. And that's what Martin County, still has to do, because they've never took that next step, And this year with Katie Markham, with Lakin Williams, both in their senior class, Lakin Williams, top 5 player in that class, this is the year for them to make their move. If they want a chance to win, that 15th region title, they'll have an opportunity to this year, because when you look, there's not a lot of them that you could see taking down Pikeville, but Martin County is one of them.
Yeah.
Well, I know we've got some fans on here saying, how can you not have Pikeville number 1? Well, I promise you, if you've not seen Wayne County, make the short trip over to Wayne County, West Virginia. Them girls can play, and I guarantee you they won't beat them 90-9.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Don't forget, these polls are voted on by other coaches. Now, I would say a lot of that, and it shouldn't be, but when you go beat teams 90-9 and still pressuring them in the fourth quarter, stuff like that's going to happen by default. That's something that should never happen, and I hate that it continues to happen, but at the end of the day, you can't put it against the kids, because the kids are amazing. One of my favorite groups of kids. So
I agree.
It's a situation, like, as long as you're playing all your players, I'm fine with it. There's situations that you just can't help. Credit Coach Chase Parsley last night. Played the starters very minimal minutes.
I think they played a total of 7 minutes.
Yeah, played
maybe 6.
Very minimal minutes, and ended up. When you're freshmen, you get down to your freshmen, and they're still, doing that. You can't tell your kids not to play. I would never tell them that. But the situation, and I don't know, I wasn't there, but from what I hear, there was still some pressing going on in the fourth. If that was the case, then that's the part that I definitely look down on.
Well, listen, I've been told, again, I wasn't there, but I've been told 2 different variations. One, that they did press the entire time. Then I was told on the other side from a parent, they said we tried every way in the world to hold back, play the younger kids, not to run up the score. I'll say this, and I'll say it again, because, listen, I always had a saying, if I can beat them by 100, I'll beat them by 100. If I can beat them by 1, I'll beat them by 1. But I coached on the college and pro level. And, I'm just going to be honest, I've beat 4 teams by 100 points or more. But a lot of it goes on behind the scenes, that grown men stuff, contracts and things. So, we're going to, listen, this is grown man stuff. You're getting paid. We're going to beat you as bad as we can beat you. High school, they're kids in the community. These are your neighbors. These are your friends. These are young people that's doing it for fun, or maybe coming out to help the program exist. Without them, they may not exist. So if it is a situation where that press was stayed on the entire time, that shouldn't have happened. And I'll say that every single day of the week, that if you're up by 60, 70 points on a local neighboring team, that shouldn't happen if you're pressuring the basketball.
And like I said, we don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I said, I've heard 2 variations that they didn't, and they tried to hold off. So I'm just saying, in case if that was the situation.
And the thing is, and listen, credit. Listen, Coach Orem has built a powerhouse at Pikeville. So not much, but this happens at least once, twice a year. And everybody has this discussion.
It's just you're right. We're just discussing, right?
Yeah. There's no. At the end of the day, it's listen. It's the coach's coach, and that's on that. But it's also a situation that Pikeville is so much better. But when you do stuff like this, you can't cry wolf when area teams won't play you. So that's the other side of it. But it's a situation where this right here, and. By default, Pikeville has got so good there's not a lot of area teams that can compete with them. So, you're going to see a lot of that by default. But like you said, the only thing I got a problem with is if they was pressuring late in the game.
And I can say this. Nobody outworks that Pikeville program. My daughter was a part of it for a year, and I can promise you, Coach Orem has those young girls developing. Those young girls are good as many juniors and seniors. They're in the weight room. They're getting up shots in the morning. They're getting up shots in the evening. That team is committed to winning. That's what I'm about. You better believe it. So, again, those 8th graders probably as good as a lot of varsity teams here.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And
so I can see both sides of it as a coach. So it's just your viewpoint.
Yeah, Otis Atkins says, let's make the game happen. Would love to see Wayne and Pikeville.
Yep.
I would love to see that game because to me, even though Russell's sitting there at number 2, those are the 2 teams I think at the end of the year will be 1-2.
Yeah.
Now, I say that, but Mandy Lane, Shaylin still, every year they have something to say. I think, I could be wrong, but I think last year they may have beat Pikeville. One of these Pikeville or parents may be able to tell me, but didn't Russell beat Pikeville last year? I could be wrong.
It was either Russell, Ashland.
Yeah, it was one of them.
One of the 2.
And listen, the other night, Pikeville defeated Ashland 62-55. In the loss, you had Kenley Woods 39 points and 7 rebounds. This Ashland team, we sit here and talk. This Ashland team's a team that you could very well see winning that 16th region again. And so. I say, we talked, we said, well, you'll put these in a certain group and then the other ones, but Ashland is every bit as good as Pikeville, Wayne, and Russell.
I don't think consistently they could do that. Maybe, like I said, any one of these teams in the top 10 could beat the number 1, number 2, number 3. But if I'm a betting man, I'm taking my odds with those top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Said Russell beat Pikeville in a scrimmage. That's what it was. Yeah. So, and then said Pikeville beat Russell last year. Appreciate that, Matt. But this year here, when you sit and see that top 10, this is the year. And the thing that I like, and I'll say it like it is. Pikeville, the one thing they ain't done is win a game once they get to state. They've still got to do that, and that I know talking to Kiara Thornsberry, that's the number one thing on her mind. Kiara transferred from Belfry to Pikeville to compete at Rupp Arena and to win a state title, because she gave up being a legend, a walking legend. She would have been the Whitney Creed. She would have been she would have been the biggest star. She would have held every record at Belfry, but she was so unselfish and so competitive that she wanted to win a state title. She gave all that up to go to Pikeville to win a state title. This is her senior year. This is the year that you, put all your stuff in the fire, and hopefully this is the year that you can win a game at Rupp if you're Pikeville.
Well, first off, winning a game in the state in Kentucky is tough.
Yeah.
Because it's who do you draw? You look. If you draw, and I get it, Coach, you got to beat everybody to win the title, but you can also start out with a little easier route to get there.
Right.
It's a lot easier to play them in the championship game than the first round.
Right.
So I think that's been some of Pikeville's problems. And the second thing, I love what Coach Orem does when she schedules those teams from downstate and in these tougher teams, because it prepares her teams for that grind when it comes to the postseason.
Right. I agree. And when you talk about you got 2 future Division I players every night lining up, suiting up, and you got Lee Jackson, who is a Division I type body on the floor. Yeah. You've got Miss Whited.
Yeah, Kristen Whited, 1,000-point scorer.
Yeah.
We'll go over the milestones before we leave the show tonight.
So
players hit.
That's entire starting 5 are college bound.
Listen, you got one of my favorite players, Dennis Rodman, of girls basketball, Riley Tice. But make no mistake about this too. I do think before it's over, I think they will sorely miss Kylie Hall. I really think that. I think that her physicality, her ability to guard multiple positions, she can knock down the 3 ball. I think she that piece right there if they don't win a game at Rupp, I think you'll look back and you'll say, maybe if they had Kylie Hall, they could have held that opposing girl to. So
There, I've said it for 2 years, 3 years, maybe now, and I make no mistake about it. Listen, you put me on a spot. Kylie Hall is the best female athlete in the 15th region, and that ain't close. I mean, she's the best 15th region athlete, and when you miss an athlete like that, that's a huge hole, because she can defend, she can run the floor, she can score it, she can do a lot of different things, and she's a huge missing piece. I hate that she's not playing.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I'd have to think about that, but you definitely got a good argument.
Yeah, right.
I agree. I'm sitting here. You gave us time, Coach. We was trying to come up with somebody.
I think Kylie Kenner is in that group.
She's in that group
because she's a Division I volleyball and basketball prospect. I mean,
but I don't know if you go all around.
That's
athlete,
what I'm saying. Kylie Hall.
I'm still going Kylie. I think she's a good argument.
Yeah,
but that might be
track, cross country, basketball, volleyball. She is good at every single thing she does, and she ain't just good. She's pretty dang elite.
Yeah, I agree. That would be a good statement.
Yeah, it would be tough. Kenner's probably the one I would.
Yeah.
She's close.
Think about it, just because she is Division I in 2 sports.
Yeah,
as tomorrow night, you mentioned Prestonsburg there on the girls' side. Tomorrow night, you're going to see what Prestonsburg's made of. Because this Floyd Central team, everybody thought at the end of the year they was like, Floyd Central, Harville's gone. They graduated a couple seniors, but this group here, we seen this summer, they took Letcher Central to the wire.
Yeah.
This is a Floyd Central group that's a lot better than people expect. And I tell you, the secret is Chloe Crace, at point guard. That young lady, I never dreamed until that Letcher game that she was that good at running the point guard position. She's the difference maker. We always thought that this would be Riley Joe Compton's team. I think the leader of this team is Chloe Crace. I think Riley Joe Compton, she can be the star. She can be one of them's the Batman and Robin, but I think the most important piece to this puzzle is Chloe Crace.
Oh, I agree. I think she's a great talent. I think there's a lot of possibility for her. I completely agree.
Yeah.
She's been a surprise to me too.
Yeah, and then you go and look, Lawrence County dropping that to Johnson Central. I would like to watch that game, see how that went. Because that's the question. Can Lawrence County still be one of them top 5 in the 15th region once Kinsley Feltner's gone? That's what everybody's been waiting to see. Is Sophie Atkins, is she that girl? Can she handle that pressure? So, I want to see Lawrence, see how they bounce back from the Johnson Central loss.
There's nobody a bigger Sophie Atkins fan than we are.
No.
So it's just now who else steps up to come around her. I think, say, Batman to Robin, she was Kinsley's Robin last year. Kinsley was obviously the Batman. She was the alpha dog, so to speak. But you have to have that running mate to go with you, and I think that's the key. Who steps up to be her running mate?
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with you, and that's tomorrow. That's going to be a game that everybody's going to want to tune into because, that could be who because especially if Lawrence isn't the top, isn't that alpha dog in that district, then that means that district's up for grabs, and even down you go 1 through 4, Corey Thacker and Betsy Lane, they're a very dangerous team. I seen them practicing yesterday. Right now, that district may be the deepest district. When you're sitting there top to bottom.
I think it is the deepest, and it's going to be the most competitive, without a doubt.
I say that, and then you got McGoffin, because every team's good in the 58th, and then McGoffin, that may be a little down compared to the rest of the 57th. So
I agree with you, and I think that every night it's going to be a war in the 58th district, and I think tomorrow night, Prestonsburg coming off, this will be their 3rd game in 4 nights. Let's see how they respond. And Floyd Central, better, as you said, Darryl McCoy, than what people anticipated. This is a defining game tomorrow, not defining necessarily early in the year, but it can shape a lot early in the year moving forward for both programs.
And I'll tell you a team that I'm surprised didn't get any votes, and I think it's a shame because I sit here and look at these ones receiving votes, and I know they're every bit as good, if not better than some of them, is a team that I didn't think was going to be as good as they was until I watched them this weekend. And that's Todd Howard and the Hazard Bulldogs. You know, I really, you've seen pieces. You know, their biggest players didn't play great, and they still laid a whopping on Belfry.
Yeah.
And you know, so and then you seen a young lady come off the bench, got player of the game in the Eddington girl. You know, that Todd Howard Hazard team, they're going to be a scary team because I think on any given night they could upset any team in that 14th region.
I think they're good enough. I think they're good enough to knock off the top level. I don't know if they're there yet to be able to knock off the number 1 or 2, but the pieces they've got the pieces are almost complete. Mm-hmm. You could tell it's still early. They're trying to figure some things out, but you're right. They were better than what I anticipated.
I think every player on that team is skilled.
Yeah.
I think all of them could handle the ball. Yeah. I mean, you could tell it's Todd Howard.
Yeah, that's
team.
a good point. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
nobody's going to work harder than a Todd Howard coach team. Let's face it.
No.
I mean, just his demeanor and what he expects, and I didn't notice that until you just mentioned that.
Yeah. No,
I figured they would have got 1 vote.
Yeah, I figured they would, but then again, you're like, you know, you only get 10. Who do you take out? You know, so it's going to be interesting. But they're one that I would watch because I could see them climbing in that.
Yeah.
You know, so and then tonight we got Phelps and Jenkins. It's going to be interesting to see in that 60th district. You know, can Justin McCoy get the Phelps Lady Hornets to the region tournament?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, well, everybody makes it this year, but you know, to the Expo.
Right.
Hey, I'm gonna jump back over to the boys for just a second. That's not your grandparents' Phelps team over there.
No, no.
That Phelps team coach is much improved, and I'm telling you what, they shocked a lot of people last night.
Well, I want to definitely, we'll go into that here in a minute because we got a lot of boys talk coming up too. So you guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Thomas, we got the boys top 10. You don't want to miss this one. Come visit us at Castle's Jewelry and Co-Run today. We got a history of making sure our clients' needs and wants are met. Castle's Jewelry has a large selection of rings, necklaces, bracelets, and more. Remember, friends come and go. Jewelry lasts forever.
Kentucky Farm Bureau agents wear a lot of hats. They're coaches, volunteers, church members, neighbors, someone who's there when you need them, especially when you need them most. That may be a lot of hats, but they're all the perfect fit. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment.
If you've recently had a loved one pass, bring them to Hall & Jones Funeral Home in Burgee, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall & Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall & Jones.
The Black Friday sale is on now at Kimber's. Kimber is letting you choose how you want to save, and the offers are incredible. On top of great sale prices store-wide, take an extra 10% off the lowest marked sale price on everything you buy, and Kimber will pay your sales tax too. Or get up to 72 months, 6 full years interest-free. Look for amazing doorbuster deals throughout the store during the Black Friday sale at your favorite Kimber store.
If you're looking for a great selection and a great experience for your next Harley-Davidson, come on down to Mountain State Harley-Davidson here in Del Barton, West Virginia.
We have new 2023 models in stock and ready for delivery. Special financing available.
Or choose pre-owned with one of the largest inventories in the tri-state area with great low prices.
Visit our showroom filled with licensed Harley-Davidson apparel and more.
Don't write that check until you check with us, Mountain State Harley-Davidson, 61 Priest Bottom Road, or visit us online at mountainstatehd.com.
Looking for a great selection, great prices, and a great experience on your next ATV, motorcycle, or side-by-side? Come check out Keefer's Kawasaki.
Our number one goal is to offer you the best power sport experience at a great price.
Like this new 23 Kawasaki Teryx 4 for only $17,999.
Before you write that check, check with us.
And remember, your adventure starts here at Keefer Kawasaki. Route 44 South, Jerry West Highway in Logan, or visit KeefersPowersports.net.
We are back here at Glenn Martin Hammond's office in Coal Run. Guys, season 5 of the Grind Session, the #1 high school basketball show in the mountains. Kevin Keathley to my right, the maestro Thomas Rainey on the boards, and I am Darryl McCoy. As we are sitting here getting started, we're going to have the boys' top 10 here in just a second, but I'm going to talk to you, Coach, about, yesterday, you made the trip down to Cordia.
Yeah.
What about that gymnasium?
Well, I'm telling you, it's an old school feel. You walk in, and it feels like you're walking into the Betsy Lane Dome. It's got that same smell to it.
Yeah.
Old gym, a lot of history. Not great parking, by the way, but it's got a lot of tradition and history in there.
Oh, well, listen, I'll go ahead and tell you, the worst parking situation of any gym in our coverage area is Hazard.
Yeah, no doubt. They're not even close.
Yeah, no, Memorial, I love the gym.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I really hope that they never move away from that.
Right.
Because I still like the Dome. I still like that. I know you want your kids to have the best,
right.
But there's something about going in them historic gyms. That's why the Hatfield and McCoy tournament is my favorite in-season tournament that they are, is because the Williamson Fieldhouse.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I mean, when you take top 5 gymnasiums in our coverage area, I'm going to say Memorial. I'm going to say probably the Williamson Fieldhouse might be my favorite. Then Paintsville, Memorial, and Hazard. They don't play many games at the Dome anymore, but the Dome is definitely in that conversation. And then if I'd have to really think about the next one, but I am a fan of, I don't like filming out of it, but I'm a fan of Lawrence County's gym too.
Well, listen, if Betsy Lane was still playing high school games,
Prestonsburg,
that's right. Well, that's right. The Dome would certainly be there. In no particular order, the Prestonsburg Fieldhouse, Hazard Memorial Gymnasium. Oh yeah, over in Breathitt County, that Dome's still rocking. Gotta love the Dome. And I like Perry Central's gymnasium. And I know I'm missing somebody. Paintsville. That's my 5. In no particular order.
I just like the old school feel.
Yeah.
When you walk in them, and they just have different bones.
I like them. And then when you go newer gymnasium, listen, I know a lot of people won't mention this when they talk about it, but one of my favorite gyms and one of the nicest gyms around is McGoffin County.
I still say it.
I love it.
As far as the new build gyms, that's it. I think that is the best looking new build gym.
Yeah, let's say it like it is. McGoffin, Floyd Central, and Betsy Lane was all had to be by the same designer, because they're the same gym. It's just certain ones are bigger than others.
Right.
Yeah, but I just don't know. I mean, I like McGoffin's because it's roomier. There's more room, and it just, to me, it has more character.
I want to bring something up real quick. Why does every school in the 58th have a jumbotron, but the field at Prestonsburg Fieldhouse? I
don't know. I know they were all. I think that was from the Varia Foundation. So I know they gave money to most of the schools. The middle schools have them.
Yeah.
I don't understand why the field has. Maybe they haven't installed it yet. I don't know.
See, they need that there because that would bring in a lot of revenue for that school, and when you got a historic place like that, that would update it a little bit. We seen what Damian Johnson done at Jenkins Gym, with the video board. Done an amazing job redoing that whole gym over, remodeling it, and Jenkins one of the most beautiful gyms
I
in
like
the area
that
now.
one too.
Yeah, so but that's going to bring us now. Top 10, Maestro. Let's see what the boys.
You was just trying to kill time, wasn't you?
Yeah, I was.
I see how it is. The suspense. All right, here we go. Wait no more. Number 10, Floyd Central Jaguars. The Logan Wildcats are number 9. The Pikeville Panthers at 8. Knott Central at 7. Chapmanville sitting at number 6. Martin County at 5, Letcher Central at 4, Breathitt County, Breathitt County number 3, Boyd County number 2, and setting the top, the D&D Sports Mountain Top 10, number 1 is Ashland. Others receiving votes, Rowan County, Hazard, Pike Central, Morgan County, McGoffin County, Prestonsburg, and Tug Valley. Where'd we get it wrong, guys?
Well, remember, in basketball, unlike football, in football, I can tell the coaches normally vote by power ranking. It's not week by week. In basketball, it's kind of week by week, wins, losses. That's why you see basketball polls fluctuate so much. It's not like football. But, that's a whole nother discussion. I think at the end of the day, I still think that Martin County is one of the top 3 teams in the mountains. I do. I think, once Brady McKenzie gets back involved, Luke Hale, them 2 wings, there's just no team got 2 wings like them 2. And then, as the other ones, if they can continue to get consistent play from the other ones, then I think Martin County is a top 3 team. But right now, when you're sitting there looking like I'm Pikeville, I still think say top 5 team 100%, but whenever they get handled by Knott County like they did, they've got to drop. So, I don't know. You're sitting here looking, Chapmanville, that we've not seen, they've not started their season yet. So, I would have them, Knott Central and Pikeville ahead of them right now until they actually play. And you're going to get to see Saturday what they are because they played number 1 Fairmont Senior right off the bat. So,
don't waste no time.
Yeah, you're going to get a heavy dose of what they are. But, the big surprise obviously was Breathitt County jumping from 9 to 3, and I think a lot of that had to do with how they handled Martin County over there in the DJ Bailey Classic.
Well, Breathitt County, the Riverbank boys, they said we're finally getting some respect with the D&D Sports Network. We're number 3. Yeah, you guys deserve it. You knocked off a really good Martin County team, Darryl McCoy, and they blew out Lee County by 30. Had a really good preseason run where they knocked off Floyd Central by 15, and they knocked off Belfry. Well, by the way, Belfry had a great showing over there. So yeah, anytime you've got a high caliber Division I player, 6'4" point guard, athletic, running the show, and now listen, wait a minute, what happened, Mr. Bellamy? Known as a shooter, Maestro, he is a 3-level scorer, Darryl McCoy. That kid is every bit as good as any guard in that 14th region.
He was the surprise.
Wow.
He ended up being player of the game. Yeah. I think that's the thing. Originally people thought that Breathitt was Austin Sperry and company. Yeah, and company. But no, this is a legit team. Now after seeing it, personally, I think at the end of the year, I still think Knott. I think it's them, Knott, and how can Letcher, is in there at 4 and getting huge win after huge win. Matthew Taylor, what he has overcome there at this early season, that's the most impressive thing. After the players he had quit, then you had You had 2 transfer out, and then
Boggs is out.
Yeah, injuries. He's had everything thrown at him, and them boys are still overcoming that adversity, winning ball games. But personally, I think Knott Central and Pikeville both are in. I think they're in the top 5. I think Ashland, Knott Central, Pikeville, Breathitt County, and Martin County, to me, are the 5 best teams in the mountains. But
so you're saying take Letcher out right now?
No, you can't after what they did.
I agree. I love to throw that at you.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. With Pikeville, Eli Johnson battling some injuries. Yep. I don't care, folks. You don't understand how difficult that is for a guard, especially, to play through injuries. Eli Johnson battling some knee issues, right? E.B. Walters still out. That's a big piece.
One.
Big piece, isn't it, Darryl? And we nailed it, Maestro. Listen, if you go and watch Pikeville play, you can tell they're trying to still find an offensive identity. And once that happens, you'll see a different team, I believe.
Well, I always point out on here, look how big our coverage area is.
Yeah.
Just making this top 10 is something. So, and I know we've got some Pikeville fans probably upset right now, but they're number 2 in the 15th region.
Yeah.
According to us.
Yeah.
You're number 2 in the 15th region, And so that's what makes it special. When you have the 14th, the 15th, the 16th,
and
Southern West Virginia, that's huge.
Yeah, if you make our top 10, you've done something.
You're good.
This is it's to the point now to where, especially adding the 14th region, if you make this top 10 list, you're one of the top teams in the mountains. That's just the way it is, And then you go and look. I tell you, a team that you could see climbing its rankings quite quickly in these first couple of weeks will be Rowan County. I think the transfers they got in from Lexington, I think makes them a legit team up there. And then, how can, Hazard, after the way they played the other night?
That's what I was going to say. I think Hazard, because I love Coach Huff and Knott County and Breathitt. I know Coach Taylor. I still think Coach Taylor's, and we talked before the game the other day, Darryl, he said, I've still got ways to go before where I'm going to be at, but I'm just talking about immediately. I think that Hazard team is much better than what people think it is. They just blew out by 30, 40 Buckhorn, right? So Letcher beat Buckhorn by 12. Hazard beat Buckhorn by 35. Hazard's the real deal. They got size, they got strength. Me and you had a chance to watch them during the off season. They're really, really good. And I go back to 15th region real quick. And Martin County, maybe the most equipped team to go to Rupp. Size, strength, wings, and backside defense. Well, not as good as Linville, but they've got it on the backside.
Listen, Peyton Davis now, he's been lights out for him. He was the hero the other night for him. And defensively, we've seen it in Chapmanville. We've seen it, and we all know that this kid is going to be one of the top defenders year in, year out. But right now, he's one of the true difference makers, because when he comes in, there's no let off.
Right.
So, I think the 15th region's going through Martin County. Now, once E.B. Walters gets back, once Eli Johnson gets 100%, that Pikeville team, I picked Pikeville preseason. I had Pikeville ahead until I seen Martin County play. And then once I seen Martin County play, I was like, okay, I thought they was going to miss Matt Linville a lot more than what they did. And I still think they're going to miss him.
Right.
Because they don't have that shot blocker. But Devin Maynard's doing a good job defending the rim right now.
That's what I was going to say. And then you saw in that Breathitt County game, how many times, and I said it, how many times do you see to have a Brady McKenzie and a Luke Hale that can match up with a Austin Sperry? So they can match up with anybody, anytime, and you nailed it with Peyton Davis as well. So defensively, they can change defenses. They can match up, interchange, and offensively, they've got multiple weapons. Martin County, they're the most equipped in the 15.
Martin County plays tomorrow night. Got a chance to make it to the championship game of the WYMG Classic.
Who is it they play?
They have.
Is that Harlan
County?
That will be a tough one.
That'll be a tough one to overcome.
Floyd Central will play Perry Central. So we've got a possibility of having two teams from our coverage area in the championship game.
That's
the one that I was surprised that didn't get a vote in this was Perry Central.
Me too.
I thought for sure, but I think a lot of them is other teams have been playing. I think Perry Central's only got a game under their belt.
Right.
When we done this, so I think that probably had a lot to do with the voters.
Yeah, right.
Leaving
I
them
look
out.
for them to climb.
I do
They'll
too.
be in that top 10.
I think they absolutely will too. And then when you're sitting there, I mean, I still want to see what Tug Valley is. Without Joey Gollihue, we seen them against Floyd Central in the zip zone. They struggled.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot of defense played in that game. I mean, they was both teams was getting up and down the floor. But the other one that I was surprised was Prestonsburg getting a vote. That when you sit there and look, at these teams, McGoffin, Letcher, I was surprised. I thought that they would be up there, but I never thought they'd be up there this early. And that's just at the end of the day, I think them almost beating Letcher. I think that a lot of people seen first game, almost beat Letcher, took them to the overtime, and so I think that had a lot to do with it. And then you get a win over a Shelby Valley team a lot of people thought was going to be one of the top tier teams. Then you take care of business against the other two. I think a lot of that has to do with Betsy Lane and Lawrence County not showing what people thought they would be right off the bat. I think it elevated Prestonsburg up a little more.
Well, the 58th district, no doubt about the toughest district in the mountains. Every night's going to be a war. I think Floyd Central's a step ahead of everybody else. I think they're the toughest matchup for everybody. I think it's probably the toughest matchup for Prestonsburg. But the job that Coach Chase Parsley's done early on, getting his guys ready to play, getting his guys ready to compete, and they've missed a couple of pieces, and they played a little banged up as well, just like Pikeville has. So for them to still perform at a high level, minus a couple of guys and a couple of guys banged up, I think that says a lot about this team's potential.
Well, without Brian Halbert in that lineup, and then for them to handle Shelby Valley the way they handled them that game, it never was really in question. I mean, it got down to I think six or eight, but it never was even close, really. The game wasn't. So, that's the interesting thing is to see where that team goes, because the two that was receiving votes that you got questions about are them and Tug.
Right.
Because you still want to see what them two are, And then, McGoffin, we talked about them. They're a team that you could see, making that climb, could be a top 3 team in the 15th region. But, they got to get everybody involved instead of rely so much on Aiden Barnett, which, we kind of was talking about it, coined him, perfect analogy, the James Harden of the 15th region.
Yeah, right.
I mean, his strong upper body, he's got great feet. At Euro step, he works well, finishes at the rack, can shoot the ball. I mean, that's the perfect analogy, the James Harden of the 15th region.
And his pace, his strides and steps, sometimes it looks like he's in slow motion, right? Yep. So because he can stop and go, it's such a slow. So it's tough to, if you're going full speed, he comes to a complete stop on his first step, then you blow by him. If he's going slow and then he accelerates, well, then now you can't react quick enough for the finish. So McGoffin County really good.
We got a lot of comments, Coach. Let's jump through a few of them real quick. James Barker says those gyms are great because the walls can talk, like the Logan Fieldhouse.
Yep.
Chase Parsley said the reason is the roof can't hold anything else, Darryl, at Prestonsburg, why they don't have the video board. So that they can't, that design won't let them put the goals up on the side either. Alan Baldwin agrees with me. He says that McGoffin's new gym is one of the better ones, and he said the visitors' locker room is really spacious. Lewis says Pikeville needs a video board as well. Oh, let's see. Trevor Noble said Letcher was without 2 starters and some key bench players when they played Buckhorn. So that explains that.
Yeah.
And Lewis says just give give Coach Justice some time. He'll figure it out. There's no doubt in our mind that he's one of the best young coaches in our area. And Lewis Ratliff said P-Bird's up and coming. They're not talking and moving the ball enough.
Yeah, that's 100%. And you know, Mike Mullen says rankings never really meant anything to him. Said it's just someone's opinion, I guess. But that's what it's about. That's what rankings are. It's talking.
That's why we're on the grind session, brother.
That's the sports show.
Right.
You know you know, sports talk. People get so mad. And when that's what it is, it's conversating. Like, we ain't going to agree, you know, all the time. And, you know, life is boring, you know. That's why you put stuff like out there, talking points.
Trust me, these two, they don't agree on anything. I mean, it's fun to watch.
we definitely, me and Coach have our spats.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we know we're on the same team.
That's right.
But as you're sitting here though, looking, I mean, if you're looking at, well, we're here for our last. Let's save this for the final segment. When we come back, guys, you don't want to miss this, because we're going to talk who we think the favorites for players of the years are, and we will also tell you about some players that hit some big milestones. Come right back and join us here on the Grind Session.
This is where it all started, right here on this farm. We may have grown over the years, but we've never lost sight of what was important to us. We're continuing that tradition today, and we always will be, for generations to come.
Looking for a new healthcare provider? Come see us at Tug Valley Wellness Clinic. We take all patients from the ages 2 and up. Our staff has over 30 years of medical experience. We do everything from DOT physicals, wellness exams, adult and child, walk-in visits, and more. Call us today at 304-236-3601 and reach us Monday through Friday.
This is where it all started, right here on this farm. We may have grown over the years, but we've never lost sight of what was important to us. We're continuing that tradition today, and we always will be, for generations to come.
Let the folks at Double Quick help you start your 2022 off right. They've brought back the Bourbon Pecan Coffee for a limited time only. You can also quench your thirst with the great deals on fountain drinks they offer daily. Double Quick is your one-stop shop for everything. They offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can stop by one of their many storefront locations spread throughout eastern Kentucky. Stop by and let Double Quick make your day better.
I'm Reed Shepard from Oklaw High School. Continue to follow D&D Sports, best coverage in the mountains.
We are back here at Glenn Martin Hammond's office. You are watching episode 1 of season 5 of the Grind Session with Kevin Keathley. I'm Darryl McCoy. We got the maestro, Thomas Rainey. Guys, Jackson Keenan says Eastridge is going to make a statement this year. I like that. Jackson Keenan, I've seen some highlights from Jackson Keenan, early season highlights. Looks like he's recovering from that injury quite well.
Yeah, I'm happy that he's able to play. There was a big time scare there for a while, you know, what's going on. And thankfully, again, God is great and God is good all the time. Jackson Keenan came back ready to play. It looks like he's 100%, and he's putting up really good numbers right now. This Eastridge team is young, Darryl, but so far so good for this young team. I believe they're 2-1.
I think so. Keegan Wallace says they'll be top 10 this year. Ronnie Jude says he enjoys the Grind Session, said don't always agree with us, but it's a good show. And so as sitting here, Well, I want to hit, guys, if you didn't watch the Prestonsburg versus Pike Central game, Brandon Kidd got a huge statement win.
Yeah.
If you remember 2 years ago, I think it was, I told you, we were sitting here on grind session, and I guaranteed you Brandon Kidd would get that statement win over Pike Central.
You did call that. You called it that year, didn't you?
And he done it again.
Yeah.
Went and got one over Bobby Spears in the bunch, the favorite that's in the 60th district. And that win, I can't say enough how big it was. But what was even bigger was the end of the JV game. Let's take a look at Kendall Stevens and the heroics that she had.
They get it into Howard. Howard over to Stevens, down to Collins.
They got her right there in the corner.
They get it down to Sloan. Sloan with a turnaround. No good. Rebounded by Johnson. Stolen away by Stevens. Stevens for three. Wow.
Stevens!
Kendall Stevens.
What a shot. A steal and a three at the buzzer to beat 35-32 Pike Central in JV action.
Yeah, those young ladies were excited. They never stopped competing. Coach Rick Ward and Reese Endicott Sloan do a tremendous job with that group, and they fought, scrapped, and clawed to the very end, and it brought over good energy, good vibes for that varsity game. Don't think that momentum don't carry over to the varsity game. It does.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
And so that was huge there. Lewis Ratliff says the only two things that we agree on, Thomas, is politics.
I don't know, Lewis. You should hear them off the air, so I don't know.
Well, I can tell you I'm a blue-blooded Republican. But as a lot of milestones was hit this week.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Stewart, the beast from the East, 1,000 career points, 500 rebounds he was honored for. He hit the 500 rebound mark in last year's region tournament. That's in 2 years. Don't be surprised if he succumbs that 2,000 point mark before he graduates.
Yeah, he's approaching. It looks like he'll get that 2,000 point mark. He'll need to average 16 points a game. This year, next year, I think he's got it. Yeah, he's got it.
For him.
He'll get that. So he'll be he'll probably be somewhere around 2,300.
Yeah, wishing him the best. Then we want Kristen Whited.
Yeah,
1,000 points. Now that's impressive, knowing that you're playing next to Kiara Thornsberry, Trinity Rowe, and you still get 1,000 points.
Yeah,
I mean, and then it's not even talking about the players that she's played with before then. So very impressive for Kristen Whited. Thomas, who else hit the milestones?
Oh, we've got several big performances.
Lakem Williams.
Yep. Gotta find that graphic. Here we go.
1,500 career points.
No easy task at all, ladies and gentlemen. Put at the
impressive.
PG spot.
Yeah. And the thing is, if you knew that she was going to be capable of this and she would probably be a 2,000 point scorer.
Right.
And you knew she would be capable of this when she come over to Martin County from Williamson.
Right.
But I'm telling you, watch out Macy Maynard, the young Macy Maynard.
Mm-hmm.
She's following the same path. She come from that Belfry Williamson area over to Martin County. She's a girl that, I know Robin Newsom says, it may be the best big she's ever coached.
Right.
And if that's the truth, Robin Newsom's had some outstanding bigs.
Yeah.
So, Maddie Thompson, comes to mind. But, it's going to be impressive. But, one of the most impressive performances of the week that we've seen was Tyler Weddington last night. Mingy beef jerky player of the game, Thomas.
Big country. Let me tell you what. What was the stats? It's stats, and although they won
32 points, 19 rebounds.
Well, just another day at the office, Coach. Just another day.
Yeah, great job against Mingo Central. And I tell you who he reminds me of is he's a lot like a Connor Napier 2.0 for Prestonsburg. Very similar. And a size and kind of the way they play the game.
Yeah, he is. He's a little taller than Connor Napier, and but he does play the same physicality. He's got that same kind of work ethic, and but Nick Knox coming over really helped that Phelps team. And Cameron Smith, that was a huge win over Mingo Central last night. That's the rivals. In order for you to get other big wins in the 15th region, you got to take care of business against teams that's right next door. And for them to get that win right there, that was huge because they fight over kids in two schools, same area. So with Phelps getting that win, you never know what could be the repercussions of that down the road. But I tell you, big country, Tyler Weddington, if you guys haven't seen this kid play, we've seen him a lot during the Belfry days, him playing for Brick Shot, that Brick Shot program. This kid may be the best big. Well, no, you got Rimmer in that class.
Right.
So, but they don't like, or they say Rimmer is not a big, but as far as
right, he's a big,
stature,
he's a big right now. Russell,
he's a big old youngin, but them two may be the best two bigs in that class.
Yeah, Tyler Weddington's got size and as you mentioned, can do some different things. So I think I agree. The 2027 class in terms of bigs, pretty thin. Ultra talented guard wise and wings, but Weddington and Rimmer. Congratulations, Weddington. I just want to mention his partner there, Nick Knox. Phelps has a go-to guy.
Yeah, absolutely does.
Yeah,
and,
you saw that.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't even know about the young Dylan Fields.
Yeah,
that Dylan Fields kid. We said it last year. He plays a lot like Keem Works. He's got that same kind of motor. You remember the middle school kid at Jenkins?
Yeah.
Now he's doing it on the varsity level.
That kid.
Yeah. Very fun kid to watch. Watch out for that team. I mean, everybody thought Belfry and Pike Central is who the 60th district would go through. Phelps might have something to say about that.
Yeah.
Hey, don't forget. What about Peyton Dixon? 2020.
Yeah.
2020 against Knox Central?
Yeah. I mean, and that's, that's the other thing. Jason Sparkman says Knott County has played 4 teams in the top 10. And they are an honorable mention lists 6 games in, what's he say? And plays top 10 between the top 10 and honorable mention. And in the last 6 games in 9 days said that they're 4-2. They'll take it.
Yeah,
so,
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so.
I agree, and that's the thing. Like I said, with basketball, it's not so much power rankings. It's going to fluctuate.
Right.
Yeah, it's what have you done lately?
Right.
Yeah, and so and like I told you, at the end of the day, I'm still a backer of Knott Central because they've been doing this. Like people think it's new. No, they beat Pikeville in the preseason too.
Yeah, that's right.
So Casey Huff has got there. He's changed that whole program, the whole mindset. If you don't believe me, go look at Drake Sloan's body. I mean, he's chiseled now. Hunter Haddix, it's a year-round job for all them kids in Knott County since Casey Huff's got there.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So then when we're sitting here, Dylan Fields, best young player in the region, Matt Lane says. Then Lewis Ratliff says Stewart played as an 8th grader.
Yeah.
That brings me, guys, to the question. We've been a week, right over a week since the season started. Right now, if I give you 5 players, give me 5 names, and one of them 5 names you guarantee will be the D&D Player of the Year.
Oh, man. Well, and we're talking about throughout the entire
through our coverage area.
Wow, there. Well,
5 names.
Okay, Xander Carter, Ashland. That's number 1. He's going to be a leading candidate.
I'm gonna write these down because we're going to revisit.
Well, don't revisit them,
later.
Darryl McCoy, because listen, this is going to change a lot.
Yeah.
But Xander Carter is going to be there the entire time. Xander Carter, number 1. Let's go with Aiden Barnett. He's going to be another guy that's going to compete for that Player of the Year award. Probably Zion Blevins. Let's put him down just because of over in that West Virginia side. There's 3. That's my 3, Darryl. I need to think about the other 2.
I'll tell you the ones I will. I'm going to go with all the ones you just said. I'm going to go with Xander Carter, Zion Blevins, Austin Sperry, and Jalen Rigdon.
Okay, so I've totally forgot that we're covering the complete 14th region. So let's put here's my 2 front runners. Xander Carter and Austin Sperry as your player of the years front runners right now. That's my two front runners. I totally forgot we're covering all of 14th region. So that's my two front runners right there.
And that's tough because, also I think Jaden Huff is in that conversation. I think that trying to look Julius Clancy for Logan, I think will be in that conversation. Trying to think if there's anybody else for player of the year, because it takes stats, you got to win. There's a lot goes into being player of the year. So I think Huff and Clancy add them to this list with Xander Carter, Aiden Barnett, Zion Blevins, Austin Sperry, and Jalen Rigdon. And if Pikeville gets great, could Fitzer or here's the thing that worries me about that and why I didn't put Fitzer or Eli on the list. The same reason I didn't put Luke Hill or Braden McKenzie is because they're going to steal votes from each other. Because they got two legit players that's going to still be considered. So it's going to be hard for one of them to win it, just because I don't know if they'll put the numbers up because their whole team is so good. So that would be my only downfall with that. And the one kid that I would throw in there is if he keeps playing the way he is Peyton Dixon from Letcher.
I agree.
So Thomas, anybody off your head we forgot that you would put in it?
Just comments. Luke Hale. No Luke Hale. People keep saying. No Luke Hale.
Well, like I said, Luke Hale, I think Luke Hale had the best performance at the Zip Zone Classic, Coach, and I don't think it was close.
Hey, Luke Hale had the best performance at the Zip Zone, 38 points, and he was consistent from quarter 1 to quarter 4.
Yeah, but I think Braden McKenzie coming back will cut that in half, and as it should, because the ultimate goal is to get to Rupp Arena and do damage. And if they're going to win a game at Rupp Arena, them two have to be clicking on, and it's a situation where both of them could average 20 plus this year.
Yeah.
But will they be looked at as these others when Aiden Barnett, who that's going to go through, Austin Sperry, these other teams have that one guy, and then they got they build around them. Pikeville and Martin County just so happens to have two stars.
Right.
They have co-stars.
They have co-stars. I think I would put Luke Hale in my group of guys. But like you said, that's the only worry when you're thinking about player of the year. You'd be like, well, Braden McKenzie. Well, wait a minute. Those two are kind of co-starring right now.
I'm not going to say player of the year, but the one that shocked me so far this year, and I'm a Floyd Central guy, Braden Moore.
Yeah, he's, and I want to speak on that real quick. Zach Mason says Jackson Keene, he'll say it till he's blue in the face. Jackson Keene, he may put up a lot of numbers, but it's hard for a sophomore to win this award. It's hard for a junior. We have had juniors win it, I think, but normally, we don't do like the region. We don't just say just seniors can win it. All classes can win it, but I do think that I think Jackson Keene's numbers are going to be crazy this year.
Well, really good numbers so far this year. There's a couple of 2027 kids that's put up as good a numbers as the 5 guys that's listed there. So you can always go with. It just depends, right?
Yeah, it absolutely does. And then when you sit here, now you was talking about Floyd Central and Braden Moore. Braden Moore, I think a lot of people, for the last 3 years, it's always been Ronnie Salmons and the band. Ronnie Salmons has kind of been the guy there. Watching them, it seems like Braden Moore is kind of, took over that star role, and and not saying anything. I just think Ronnie, he's an unselfish guy. I think he's realized like, okay, we're a better team when we're getting up and down the floor. Ronnie's always going to be consistent. and he's going to do his thing. You know what you're getting from Ronnie Salmons, one of my favorite players in the region. But Braden Moore, I think, has took that extra step. And, I agree with you, Thomas. I think that's a kid defensively, offensively, just his all-around game, one of the most complete players in this region.
Braden Moore is the most, and that's not taken away. I love Spriggs, I love Dawson, I love Buck, and I love Ronnie Salmons. I love that Floyd Central team and their chance to get to Rupp Arena. But Braden Moore is the most complete basketball player on their team.
Yeah,
I think he's the one that's next level. Out of that group, I think he could play
right.
collegiate.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think he's athletic enough.
Right, I agree.
Now Buck, he's got potential. He's a true athlete, but he's got some football opportunities as well. So, Ronnie is just the ultimate teammate. That's the best way to describe Ronnie Salmons. Doesn't matter as long as we get the W, Coach.
That's
his attitude.
Yep. I couldn't say it enough. Ronnie Salmons is one of the guys that I would take on my team. He's one of my kind of guys.
He's a fox over
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Right. That's the perfect way to say it. But really quick, when we're sitting here talking about these players of the year, I know we've talked about it, but we've not talked about it on the grind session yet. One of the biggest travesties of the off season was the Cat's Paws rankings that come out. I'll say it. Listen, them right there every year. That's why people always Cat's Paws is. Listen, when I was a kid, that was like Christmas. There was two magazines that I could sit and look at for hours.
Right.
That was the Sears Wish Book at Christmas time, and that was Cat's Paws. When the Cat's Paws come out, I would run to Super America in Belfry, Kentucky, and I would get that, and I would sit there and I would study every player. I knew everybody's stats. I knew. From high school all the way to college, I could tell you, all the way through it. So, that brings me back to my childhood. But the reputation they've always had is, they don't know much east of Lexington. And it showed this year when Braden McKenzie wasn't put in that top 10 players in the 15th region. Because if that kid ain't top 10 player in the 15th region, then I don't know what you're talking about. Because, in my mind, that kid's a top 5 player.
Well, you just showed your age, Darryl.
Yep.
You said Super America.
Yeah.
Some of our kids don't even know what that is.
That's true. Yep. But it's a Braden McKenzie. You watched him the other day. Just like we said 2 years ago, Josh DeToit was the kid most fit to go to the collegiate level out of that class and compete and produce. Well, he went on, and after a year, he was playing overseas. Brady McKenzie when you look at him, he's got Division I body all over him.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that again, it goes back to a lot of the coaches. It's that I scratch your back, you scratch mine mentality, and you have to really work it behind the scenes. There was three guys that was left off that list that should have been mentioned on there.
Yeah, they got Trevor Noble says D&D greater than Cat's Paws. Y'all got to do the rankings out next year. I wish Cat's Paws would reach out to us.
All you got to do is reach out.
We'll make you look good, I promise. But then Cindy McCutcheon says Keathley, top 5 scorer at the Zip Zone with some of the top names in the nation. The very impressive freshman out of Prestonsburg, where everybody knew what he was going to do once he got up to the high school level. And that game, it gets forgotten about because they played so early. And that's always one of the things about the early games. People don't remember. The first 2 games always kind of get slept over. But right now, when you look at his stats, he's putting some big numbers up. The averaging 20 plus a game as a true freshman. And
that's the thing, true freshman.
That's the thing. Not a lot of kids in them classes are true freshmen. Right. So, very impressive what he's doing there in Prestonsburg, Cindy. You hit it on the head there. Lewis Ratliff says D1, can't see you running. Said D, I can't see you running the speedway. Oh, well, I wasn't running, Lewis, but you get the point, my man. But now that brings us real quick before we go off the show. as you know, last year we come out with the Lathan Hall Award. Mm-hmm. Player of the Year. We got our top 5. Coach, 5 names for the Lathan Hall Award. And for anybody that don't know, the Lathan Hall Award is the top defensive player in the mountains.
Well, before you jump out, what do girls? Who's your Player of the Year girls? Top 5 real quick.
Girls, I'm gonna say the Atkins girl from Wayne.
Yeah.
There's twins. It's I get them mixed up. Brooke, I think, is the one I'm thinking of. The Atkins girl from Wayne. I think Trinity and Kiara. Yeah. I think them two's in there. Both of them Division I talents. I think Kenley Woods from Ashland, and then I'm gonna go Shaylin Steele from Russell.
That's a good 5. Yeah. I agree. I can live with that 5.
Yeah, and I know I'm leaving.
Who I would pick.
Yeah, I know I'm leaving somebody out, but those would be the 5.
So I put you on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, give me a minute. I'm sure there's somebody I forgot, but those would be the 5. Now, Lakin Williams, Addie Smith, they'll put the numbers up to compete for it. Yeah. So that's going to be the interesting thing. But Defensive Player of the Year, it's an award we gave out every year at the All-Star game. Last year, we named it, honored Lathan Hall. Everybody knows Lathan was one of the top defenders in the mountains throughout his career. He's a kid that prided himself on defense, and every time he spoke in public, it was about defense. It wasn't offense. So, that was something that we really enjoyed naming at the Lathan Hall Award. But, to you guys, 5 names, Lathan Hall Award.
Maestro.
I don't know. You put me on the spot. Let me think.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'd be so much defense, but I think he would fit in that same mold. I like the Davis kid. Is that Peyton Davis or Dixon? Peyton Dixon from over in Letcher. Just before his rebounding on the glass.
Rebounding's defense.
So I could see him, and of course Peyton Davis. My goodness, he is a defensive stopper out of Martin County. I don't know. Let me think some more. You've caught me off guard. I wasn't ready.
Yeah, when we talk defense, it's just so early on.
I'm struggling.
Yeah, it's a tough deal to go through. Darryl McCoy, you give us who you got. Now,
he has all these questions.
Yeah, prepared. He's already got them prepared.
Actually, I'm over here thinking of them myself right now.
Right.
For your information, but real quick before I answer that, guys, if you haven't seen Seth Cottle for Hazard Play, that kid is legit. But
the human eraser in the middle for Pike for him, Fitzer.
That he was one of mine.
Thank you, whoever helped me out, Lewis Rattle. Thank you, brother.
He's definitely one of them, and I'm still trying to figure my 5th out. But right now, Peyton Davis.
Mm-hmm. Agree with that.
Charlie Fitzer.
Okay.
Braden Moore.
Oh, Braden Moore. I forgot about him.
Braden Moore.
I just brought him up.
Normally, I would have had Pente in this conversation.
Yeah.
But I got to see more from him. But and I'm not saying this because he's my son, but Jackson Estridge.
Oh man, yeah. I would put Jackson Estridge in there. I would.
Yep.
Definitely.
Those would be the in my mind. Those are the 4, and I know there's going to be probably. I like Hunter Haddix from Knott Central.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, he's really a really good defender, and I know like there's some that's right there that I'm like. Where was Ashton Davis from Tug Valley?
Oh yeah,
he's a kid that a lot of people don't think it, but he's the kind of kid that gets under your skin. He gets he's that Dennis Rodman type defender. Then trying to think if I could think of any more.
Devin Maynard, so they still have
Devin Maynard, yes. Devin Maynard, we talked about him blocking shots a while ago. He had a really good half, but and I think the thing about Peyton Davis is that kid he's on the deck more than he's on his feet.
Yeah.
50-50 balls, and when you talk about the pride and what that Lathan Hall award means, that's kind of the definition you get of Peyton Davis. But and then over
McCormick Ilderton.
McCormick Ilderton. I was sitting there. I was trying to think. Okay, on Logan's squad, I knew I had somebody on my head. McCormick Ilderton definitely belongs in that conversation. So that gives you a group of 7 to 10 guys. And I'm sure we'll add them on as they go. I'm trying to think. Perry Central seemed like they had somebody. Was it Trayton Woods?
They have multiple guys that can flat out guard.
Yeah.
And I think that's just more so anything. Just once we get those names nailed down, but as the season moves along, because there's multiple guys on that Letcher team that can guard. There's multiple guys on that Perry Central team that can guard. And I'll tell you who guards really well. Multiple spots over at Knott County. So there's guys that can flat out get after it.
Well, that's exactly right. And you're going to get to see it all right here on the D&D
right.
Sports Network.
Yeah. So the Terry Dalton says, great job, guys. Mackenzie has lived in the weight room this summer and probably has the best bounce in the mountains. Said you will see some huge dunks from him this year. I agree. We seen him at the U-Pike game. And the kid, I can't remember how many it was, but he had 7 to 10 dunks in that U-Pike in one game.
Yeah.
So definitely, kid, you want to keep an eye on. But that's just the start thing. So make sure as we move on, you guys can write the names down. You can tell us where we went wrong, where we didn't. But I think we got just about everything here.
Darryl, we can't end without talking about the tough news that came out of Paintsville this week.
Oh, Les Trimble, yes. Les Trimble resigning as head coach of the Paintsville Tigers. Now, Paintsville, 2-0, starts the season 2-0, got a big win over Floyd Central, and resigned right after it. When he resigned, I was like, that took a big hit because there's not a lot of them. You're getting a lot of the younger coaches starting to move in the rankings, and Les Trimble was one of them true basketball coaches. You hate to see the coaching ranks lose a guy like Les Trimble.
Les Trimble has been successful when he didn't have talent, Thomas, and when he did have talent, he found ways to win games. He'd go to his own. If he didn't have the size, he'd go to man, whatever he needed to do to win. And I can remember the first year they did the Coaches Association for the girls was 2017. And my daughter was a sophomore. And what meant a lot to me is he came over, Caitlin was selected along with Presley Cherico was Player of the Year, and he came over and told me how much he thought of Caitlin and the job that she did, and that meant a lot. He was classy coach and always doing a great job being an ambassador for girls basketball.
Well, huge supporter of D&D Sports, always giving us information, making sure that the Paintsville Lady Tigers got what they needed, and he's going to be missed.
Yeah, he will 100%. And that's the thing, because he had a team this year that could compete for a region title.
Yeah.
And you hate to see, you hate to see him leave. It's going to be an uphill battle, and I think that's probably why you didn't see Paintsville higher on the list, is because of the uncertainty there.
That's a good point.
But. They got a lot of talent. KK Vanoy's been playing. Yeah. I mean, everybody knows about Kenner and Priest, but KK Vanoy's been the real deal.
Right.
But it's going to be interesting to see as this season moves on. But guys, I hope you hit that like and share button, because somebody will be drawn to win a ham for Christmas. So somebody hit that share button. But
it's not a canned ham.
No, absolutely. Right. No. I don't know what you call it, but I call it a big A ham. There you go. But now, when you sit here and look, guys, this year, the Maestro has put together a schedule of ball games. I mean, you got 3-4 games just about every night on D&D Sports Network. We got the 14th versus 15th Region Challenge. You guys probably seen it. We ain't seen it yet. Who won the Phelps and Jenkins game? But right now the 14th Region leads at 6-3. You guys can see that later this week. But from here on out, from here to the beginning of 2024, we got monster games. And
there is some nights that we're going to have 6 games on a night.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to think of how much basketball. If you're a basketball fan, why turn the TV on unless you're going to the YouTube app and dialing up D&D Sports Network?
Yeah, and honestly, it's there's two things that's made this happen. That's our sponsors, and that's you fans at home. You guys are the ones that when you hit that share button, you have no idea how much that helps these kids, because you never know who's going to see that when you share it. And then that's why kind of rewarded you guys with watching it on YouTube now. You get to watch it, sit at home, put it on your smart TV. Most of the time we can get it on YouTube unless schools have it blocked. We can get it on there. So we've tried to make it, the Maestro tonight, he's trying to put more graphics, more whips on it, so you guys makes it a better viewing experience for you guys. So we appreciate everything that you guys have done to help put us where we're at. And I definitely appreciate the sponsors. Make sure you guys go like our sponsors' pages, and if you get a chance, tell them thank you. But guys, for the Maestro Thomas Rainey, for Kevin Keathley to my right, I'm Darryl McCoy. We will see you next Wednesday night right here on the Grind Session at Glenn Martin Hammond's office.